First off, what kind of analysis goes into predicting what countries and athletes are going to fare the best in the Olympics?
Well, we look at the results from the last 4 years in World Championships and World Cups and Grand Prix and that sort of level of events where there are fields that come from the whole world. And we weight those results based on, obviously, first of all, the ranking. First is better than second, is better than third, etc. But then also how long ago the event was. So things that are very recent are worth much more in the calculation than results from 3 or 4 years ago. But also the standard of the competition. So a world championship would be the most important, and then World Cup events would be somewhat less than that. And we put all that together, and then we predict one, two, threes, and further for each of the events. And then we total that up, and we come to a medal total for each country.
Of course, at Radio Humber, we're an all-Canadian radio station, so we're very interested in how Canada is going to do. According to your analysis, how well is Canada going to fare in this year's Olympics?
Very well. We have Canada on 33 medals. We've got that split down to 7 gold, 12 silver, and 14 bronze. The only caveat to that at the moment is that we are not including Russia because we just don't know which Russians are involved and which aren't. So that makes it a little bit more complicated. So yeah, Canada we have doing very well. That's actually enough for the third highest medal total of the countries that are taking part. We have Germany and Norway finishing ahead of Canada on that basis.
Yeah, so how tough has Russia's, IOC complications made this for you guys in predicting the medal count?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways it's very complicated. In some ways it's not. I mean, all we really do when we cut the Russians out is that we just push everybody up a place to replace them. But of course, where it's really confusing is we know, I think now that some people and some teams are going to take part, but we just don't have any confirmation as yet of which ones that actually is, and we're only now 30 days away. So that's the most complicated thing about it, is just not knowing. In an event like the figure skating, the women's figure skating, where we currently have a Canadian in a gold medal position, Caitlin Osmond, it would surprise me if Evgenia Medvedeva didn't take part, and she would be a massive gold medal favourite in that case, which would push the Canadian down.
Which Canadian athletes should Canadians be looking at to fare the best this year?
Looking at the 7 gold medals that we have currently, so I've mentioned Caitlin Osmond already, but that's obviously dependent on Medvedev not taking part, but clearly, she's one of the favourites. Kaylee Humphries in the bobsleigh is very interesting because that's a big battle with Ilana Myers-Taylor from the United States. Both curling competitions, men and women, we expect gold for Canada. Freestyle skiing, Michael Kingbury, we have, if I say it right, Maxence Parot in the big air in snowboarding, in the gold medal position. And we have the men's ice hockey team, although there are obviously issues on that, which I think we'll probably come on to in a minute. I'd just like to also mention people who we have winning more than one medal, because I think that's also interesting. So in short track, we have Charles Hamelin and Marianne Saint-Gelais, if that's right. Mark McMorris in the snowboard, and then the speed skaters, Ted Young Blumen and Ivani Blondin. So in those speed skating events. So there's a few Canadians there who we'd expect to be, highly competitive in more than one event and perhaps come home with two or three medals.
Now, you mentioned Team Canada's men's hockey team, which hockey is a huge thing in Canada, of course. How do you have the women doing this year?
We have the women in the silver medal position, and as I mentioned, the men in the gold medal position. How we do this with the team sports, where there's obviously less data because of the we don't have like a World Cup circuit where everybody's playing each other all of the time. So we're only really basing this on the World Championship events and for the men the World Cup of Hockey as well. So for the women it's a fairly straightforward thing. Although they won the gold medal at the last Olympic Games, the three World Championships since have ended with Canada losing to the Americans in the final, and so that's basically the order that we have it. But again, you'd expect those two to be in the final again. And once you're in the final, it's anybody's game.
Are there any countries, maybe smaller Eastern European or Scandinavian countries, who had the potential to be this year's Cinderella story?
Very good question. Cinderella story is a bit difficult, really. I think, the big story, I think, for me when I look at these is Germany, purely because of what they did last time. So although Germany is not a small country by any means, and Germany often does very well at the Olympics, last time Germany was sixth. The Germans have bounced back, and we now have them right at the top of the medal table again, with 14 gold and 40 medals. Japan. So we expect Japan to potentially have their best Winter Olympics with 15 medals. That will end up developing into quite a decent story, because the games are hosted in Korea, the neighbours of Japan, and so there'll be there can be some sort of rivalry going on there. And then obviously Korea itself, being at home, 7 gold medals we have for Korea, and that would